Good evening, everybody. From a very, very chilly Johannesburg, and I am very excited about this call tonight. I know that we had another call planned, but we had so many requests from you to give you a little bit of guidance on what we are about to talk about tonight. So, if for those of you who have been on our launch call on the first of the month, you know that Quibus, our general manager, was on there, and he said that we are the only persons that policed us was ourselves, right, when it comes to claims. And he told you to be bold. So we were very excited and couldn't wait to see what you guys are sharing about the oils. And the more people we are talking to, the more people say they are so afraid to say anything because of they're so used to compliance coming down on them. So they would like a little bit of guidance from us on what we can actually say about our magnificent oils. Now, so this is the first part. We will have more of this regularly. So on the call, I am joined by my two amazing colleagues, which is Aditi. Aditi is our brand manager, and then we got Francisca, which is our pharmacist. So it's going to be a conversation between the three of us tonight to find out more about the oils that you actually love, right? So we will take you through just some of the claims that you can make. And then after we spoke about the 5 oils, there's something else I want to share with you, what we're going to be sharing with you tonight that will make your life so much easier. But over to the ladies of the hour. Aditi, how are you doing? Hi, Fran.
Hi, Lee. We well, thanks. It's a little bit freezing in Joburg today.
Yeah, it's
Hi, Lee.
it's been very cold, but I mean, my heart is being warm tonight. I can promise you that, right? So, do you want to just sort of position this, or can I just go through the disclaimer before we start, or how would you like to do this?
Yeah, Lee, if you could through the disclaimer, which is the first slide. Are you sharing, Lee?
Yeah, I'm sharing.
Okay.
Can everybody see my screen, right?
Not yet.
That's okay. Hold on, because it says stop. Okay, let me just reshare because it did say I'm sharing my screen.
Yes, now we can see it.
Okay, now you can see it. Okay, cool. There we go. So I'll go through the disclaimer. So the information on this presentation is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. This information is a document for South African market only. Now, Aditi, do you want to position that for us a little bit and just explain why this is for the South African market only?
Yes. So, Lee, as you know, different countries have different regulations. What we can say here is not necessarily the same thing that they can say in Europe and the US. And it becomes a little bit tricky when you actually sit down and see what you can say and what you can't say. So we know that Quibus has given us the liberty to talk about the oils like we want to talk about it. Share your testimonials, share your experience with the oil. And the best way, that's actually the best way to share is to share your experience. And I mean, when I've been sharing my experiences with friends, with family, even with colleagues, and that's when actually the penny drops and wow, this is how I can actually incorporate essential oils into my life and how amazing it is. So today, Francisca and I are going to talk to you about claims that you can make. Amazing claims. I mean, I've learned so much when putting this presentation together. So I'm marketing, right? So I'm going to tell you about the claims from a marketing perspective. And it's most likely the claims that you would be familiar with. But then there's a really exciting part where Fran's going to show you and tell you about the medical claims that you can make. And she's also going to tell you exactly how you can speak about this. We don't want to make drastic claims like, the oils can cure cancer and, do those kind of drastic claims that we actually can't prove. But we can talk about it very cleverly. And Fran's going to teach us how to do that. And now that we've got the liberty to talk about oils how we want, I think it's just going to be so much more excitingly.
Awesome. So I think we're starting the oils that we're sharing tonight. I have known as the way that we've been talking to them. So I'm really looking forward to see the actual claims, the medical claims that we can make. So the first oil we're talking about tonight is frankincense, right? So DT, so from a marketing perspective, what does frankincense mean to you?
Okay, so frankincense is actually an amazing oil. We know that historically it's got such a rich story where I actually learned recently that frankincense was actually burnt and used to dry princesses' hair in the times when princesses actually existed and lived those royal, amazing lives. So they didn't have hair dryers, and so they would burn the resin of frankincense to dry the queen and the princess's hair. So I thought that was quite interesting, just to share a little bit. But frankincense is known as a beauty oil. So whether you're applying it directly on your skin, you can add it to your skincare products. It's just such an amazing oil, but we know that. And we also know that it's a spiritual oil. So it's grounding and it's centering. And when doing yoga and just having a spiritual quiet time, even if you're just sitting down to meditate or start your day, it's just such an amazing oil that grounds you. So from a marketing perspective, that's what we know about frankincense. We know that it's great for beauty. It actually evens out your skin tone. It has anti-aging benefits. So for fine lines and wrinkles, and it's really easy to use. So you can just pop it into your body here, pop it into your facial care, and it's got an amazing scent as well. So that's what we know from a marketing point of view. But there's so much more to frankincense. So that I'm now going to hand you over to Francisca, who's going to tell you about the medical claims that we can make on this oil.
Hi, everyone. So like Aditi said, there is so much. And before, like she said, we're only supposed to talk about the cosmetic or marketing claims that she just talked about. And so right now, I'm just so excited to just deep deeper into the medical or the clinical claims that we can actually talk about frankincense. And I know that it's a whole lot clinical, but I'll try to break it down to layman language so that everybody can really understand what I mean by everything that I'm going to talk about. So the one very interesting thing that frankincense can be used for is it can be a nerve stimulant, or it enhances nerve function. And what I mean by that is that, for example, one very good example of a disease or a condition that can actually cause nerve damage is diabetes. So let's say it usually attacks the limbs or the legs most times. Take frankincense, massaging the legs. It's very good for stimulating the nerves so that there's no nerve damage and people don't even ultimately get to amputation. So that is a very, very, very good usage of frankincense. It reduces or decreases the bronchial mucus congestion. What we mean by that is sometimes you get an airway infection or a respiratory infection, which causes you to have phlegm or mucus in your airway. So frankincense works by breaking down that phlegm so that you don't have any mucus congestion or buildup in your airways. And as well, it relieves mild upper respiratory tract congestion. That, in simple terms, is blockages of the sinus or the upper respiratory or blockage of the throat, basically because of, as well, mucus. So it helps with that, with the mild upper respiratory tract congestion. And the biggest thing that we should focus on here is mild. If someone has got severe upper respiratory conditions, then you'd seek health professional help. But if it's just mild conditions, then definitely frankincense is your friend. You can diffuse it and then you can use it and it breaks down the phlegm, or it breaks down the mucus that will be blocking the tract. So I'm so excited about this, and it's so informative.
That's really great. So I mean, I think this time of year, a lot of us is sitting with congestion. I'm me myself, not in my chest as well as my nose is blocked. So then for frankincense would be a perfect oil, and it would have not been an oil that I actually thought at all, because I'm normally thinking of eucalyptus or one of those oils to help us with those ailments, right? So
Yes.
so what would be diffusing will help us in clearing all of that up, Francisca?
Definitely. Diffusing will help, massaging will help. One other thing that I actually read up was that you can even dilute your frankincense with your preferred carrier oil and apply it on the upper lip, and then you massage there, then you inhale it if you don't have a diffuser, or you start getting congested because you're sitting under an aircon and then you start getting congested. You can just do that. A quick fix: take a carrier oil, put it do a quick mix, 1 drop of frankincense with 1 drop or 2 drops of carrier. You apply on your upper lip so that you can inhale it, and then you will start to feel better. Basically, the same way that Vicks works. That sometimes you apply Vicks on the upper lip and then, or on the chest, and then you start feeling, you inhale the frankincense. It definitely works for congestion.
That's awesome. So just also then to understand is like, so obviously if my chest gets worse and my congestion gets worse, so I still have to go to the doctor, right? I mean, this is not a cure or a treatment. I think this is just sort of, I should ask that, or what
Yes.
should I do?
Yes, because sometimes it can be very progressive. The congestion or the bronchial infection gets so progressive that it's a bacterial infection. So if it's an infection and you can feel that it's now associated with pain and serious wheezing, then that's when I suggest you go see a health professional. So that's why I said it works for mild congestion. It's for mild upper respiratory tract. So if it's mild, when I say mild, if you apply frankincense and it starts working within an hour, you start feeling some relief, you start feeling a bit of air coming, and then that's mild. But if you apply it and 5 hours later it's worse, it means that now you need to go and see a health professional for further help, because it might actually be a respiratory infection instead of just congestion.
Oh wow, that is truly spectacular. So now not only can it make us look great, but it can also help us with all these additional benefits. Now, the
Definitely.
next oil that I'm also very excited about. Look, I'm excited about every oil, right? But this is our Swiss Army knife. Now we know that this oil is good for many things, right? Aditi, so tell us from a marketing perspective, what do we currently know about lavender and what have we been saying?
So we know that lavender is a very popular oil. We know that majority of the people that I've spoken to about lavender absolutely love the fresh, sweet, floral, herbaceous aroma. It's a refreshing oil. And I mean, many of us can actually associate this with our parents and our grandparents, that warm, loving, soothing, calming sort of scent. So we know that lavender it helps you at night. We know that it helps you to go to bed. It helps with babies, to put them off to bed, help them to just have like a really relaxed, good sleep. We know that it's good for skin. So adding lavender to your skincare routine is absolutely amazing. It can soothe and calm redness. Um, and it can also be used for minor rashes and just skin irritations. So that's what we know about lavender, right? But there's so much more to lavender that we actually haven't been talking about. And I think Francisca is the best person, our pharmacist, to tell us about the medical claims that we can make on lavender. So lavender has just been such an amazing oil for us, but it's just about to get better.
And I'm so excited because the truth is, the first oil I was ever introduced to was lavender. And lavender, whenever I'm introducing anyone to essential oils, is always my go-to. And it's so amazing that now I can even talk about its relief or reduction of mild rheumatoid aches and pains. So meaning, you know how there's the rheumatoid disease and it comes with aches and pains, but then if it's just mild ones, you can just massage as well with a lavender and it helps with that. And it decreases and relieves colic. You know, colic can affect anyone from babies to adults to up to grandparents, literally, because it's something that has to do with the GIT and how we digest food. So the relieving of colic is like a one major thing of lavender that I love so much, because if you just massage with it or if you just diffuse it, it works very, very well for wind gas and colic. And it also helps the body adapt to stress by working like my favorite part, the amygdala part of the brain, to release some serotonin, which is a feel-good hormone. So that diffused as well helps with the adaptation to stress, relieves minor symptoms of anxiety. You're supposed to go for an interview and you're feeling very anxious and you've got lavender in your handbag, just applying that. Amazing, because it relieves mild anxiety and it's related to my favorite part of the body, again, the amygdala part of the brain, and releases serotonin, works on your mild anxiety. And I have to put a disclaimer on this, that the key word for all of this is mild. If it's severe anxiety, then definitely you need to go see a health professional. Mild, it works for mild stress, mild depression, but if it's severe depression, we are not saying substitute now your treatment for depression or anxiety with lavender, but if it's just mild instances where you feel anxious, then definitely lavender can be used. And then it helps relieve also nerve pain. So like as well, frankincense, it works for nerve pain and nerve stimulation. So you apply it on the affected areas, quickly massage, and works amazing for actually working on a mild nerve pain. It works as an amazing antiseptic. This I experienced myself. I had burns from cooking oil, and I was applying the lavender for those minor burn wounds, and it worked amazing. I don't even have scars. Literally, people were thinking maybe I have a tattoo on my hand because of the drops of oil that were there. And I'm telling you, I applied it for like a week or two, and from then on, it worked amazing for the burn wounds. So as well, minor cuts and abrasions, because it's antiseptic. So it helps with what? With not getting a further infection on the cut or the abrasion.
And this is for me, this was one of the two oils that I was introduced on the first day as well. The first one was Diagize, which I now can actually say I actually drank it and not just rubbed it on my stomach, right?
Yes.
And the second one was lavender, when I burnt myself with the boiling water in the hydro boil. I also got a blister from the hot water, and Sharon gave me some lavender to put on, and immediately that very sharp burn feel was much more easier. It wasn't as bad as it was, and also it didn't scar. It really helped me personally for the healing process, which is, so for me, this is amazing. And then also just want to mention that this is not all lavender can do, right? So we will be sharing some documentation after the call, which I'll talk a little bit more, but there is a list this long about lavender and the amazing claims and benefits that we can do. So yeah, so the next one is one of the locally produced oils that is, for me, sunshine in a bottle, and that is our lemon oil. Aditi, what do we know currently about lemon?
So yes, Lee, I absolutely love lemon. It's definitely my go-to oil. So we know that lemon is it's strong, right? The citrus smell is just so refreshing, and it's a very clean smell. We can use it in our cleaning products, so you can add it to your thieves just to enhance the smell. If you like that more citrusy smell, and it's a revitalizing oil when you diffuse it. And we also know that lemon is rich in vitamin C. And what's vitamin C good for? Yes, it's good for your colds and flus and to ingest it, but it's also really good for your skin. So what vitamin C does is it can actually help with UV-induced pigmentation, so your hyperpigmentations, your dark marks, age spots, dark spots on your skin. It's really, really good for that. So what the vitamin C does is, in the lemon oil, is it actually breaks down your pigmentation and lifts it, which gets
Mm.
rid of pigmentation. So
Ah.
definitely a really, really good oil for for pigmentation. It can also be used as a facial cleansing oil, which is really nice. So how I like to use lemon, and before we could talk about this, I've been doing it for a long time, is just adding a few drops to my water. An ice cold glass of water with a drop of lemon is just so refreshing, especially in the summer months. But in
Mm.
the winter months, it gives you the added benefit of the vitamin C. So just a really nice oil for cleaning your house. It's lovely for your skin, and it's just so refreshing when you drink it. So
Mm.
that's what we know about lemon oil, right? We've all been doing this for a very long time. But there's so much more to lemon that we actually couldn't speak about. And
Mm.
I was very impressed when I saw these claims, Francisca. I had
Mm.
no idea that lemon could do all of this. So if you could take us through the
Absolutely.
medical claims, I think everybody's going to be even more excited about lemon than we currently are.
Yes, definitely. Because I want to revert back to what you said about lemon. Me too. I love lemon because I love the citrusy smell. I am so in love with, if you diffuse it, it's a feel good smell for a lot of things. It makes you actually feel really, 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 really nice after diffusing it, because it works for what? For emotional or mood balance. So that is like the amazing part about uh lemon. And then for nausea and vomiting as well, it is great for that because it works on the vomiting system of the body, so the vomiting center actually, and it suppresses the nausea that you feel or some vomiting that you might feel. It's antispasmodic as well, or a spasmolite, in that it works on the GIT system as well. Whenever you feel stomach cramps, or whenever you feel like you're getting yeah, basically that's the layman's term that I can use. Stomach cramps, you can use or rub lemon, or actually also inhale it, and then it increases mental endurance and stamina as well, because like I said, it has this citrusy smell that makes you feel great or feel good. And then it also helps with mental alertness as well. When you're feeling a bit swamped, or you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, or you're feeling like you are not able to do most of the things that you were supposed to do throughout the day, the minute you diffuse or you massage lemon, it helps with mental alertness as well. So, which is great because, like Aditi said, we are in winter, immune systems can be under pressure. You can feel exhausted or mentally or physically drained. And lemon should always be a go-to whenever we feel like that. So because it has got a lot of functions. And like Lee said, all of these oils that we're showing today have got 20, some of them plus, claims that they have to them. So here we're just going to share a few, and then he's going to share the rest at the end to everyone.
So, I mean, now I understand why lemon is sunshine in a bottle, right? Because it helps support emotional and mood balance. So
Yes.
without actually even knowing that, that is what it's been. So Aditi mentioned, and I mean, Francisca, you mentioned that drinking a drop of lemon in water. For instance, I take it in the morning with my Ningxia, right?
Yes.
So I just want to make sure that, because this is not one of our vitality oils, because normally the vitality oils is the oils that we can ingest, right? So are we
Mhm.
saying that our lemon oil is safe to ingest?
Yes. So I will go back to the registration and the labeling of our oils. The only reason why some of our lemons that appear in the vitality range cannot be ingested in the ZA market is because of the labeling. So right now they've got a cosmetic label. So we cannot mark, literally put it on the bottle itself to say you can ingest it, even though these are off-the-counter suggestions that we can make, because they actually can be ingested, but just that the label does not allow us to stand on top of rooftops and say we can. But definitely you can actually, as long as they're part of the vitality range, like basil. If we've got basil and then there's basil on the vitality range, it means that we can actually just a drop or two. Obviously, you have to follow certain recommendations. Don't overdo it. But if it's just a small amount of it, definitely you can.
Okay, so my suggestion is, sorry, Aditi.
No problem.
No.
So I just want to say, so Francisca, is that okay? Am I correct when I say that the only difference between a lemon vitality and our lemon oil is the label?
Definitely is the label, because when it was brought into the South African market, it was marketed as a cosmetic, and the only difference is the label. So now once we managed to, because it's a whole other project that we are working on to actually introduce the vitality range in, so that we can formally now say, yes, you can ingest it. So it's another process, but for now, the only difference between our vitality range and our essential oils that we have in the ZA market is the label. We have a cosmetic label, they have a wellness label.
So if I'm uncertain which oils I can ingest, right? My suggestion would be go to one of our other markets and see that oil is available as a vitality oil.
Yes.
Go to the US, go to the Europe store, go to the Australian store, see if that oil is a vitality oil or a wellness oil. In that case, or do some research or ask our upline, then that oil is safe to ingest, right? So don't just assume that all oils can be ingested. So can they say now that some of our oils can be ingested on social media?
On social media, it can be tricky as long as they write it out as vitality. Because now, if we just say Young Living lemon essential oil, it can be confusing for the consumer. So to be safe for compliance reasons as well, if you want to say something can be ingested, just mention that, especially the vitality range, then that makes it more compliant.
Okay, but we know that, but for us and what we'll be doing, we know that it's safe to do, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make that sure as well.
And I'm seeing here that one lady is saying that, can we have a list of all the oils that are available as vitality? Yes, that we can be able to provide that list, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, we will definitely work on that. So the next one is another citrus one is orange, which is also really one of my favorite. I love the citrusy oils. DT, what does orange mean to you?
So yes, Lee, I'm also a huge fan of the citrus range of oils, and orange is just also such a versatile oil. It's rich, it's got a citrusy, such a uplifting citrusy smell, and it's also a calming oil. So many people, when they think of a calming oil, straight away go to a lavender, but an orange oil, it's uplifting and it's calming at the same time, and not many people actually know that. It brings peace and happiness to the mind. So going back to what Francisca said about the lemon oil, orange works very similarly, and that's what produces the happy hormones, right, Francisca?
Yes, it does.
I don't want to go too much into the medical stuff, but
right,
yeah.
correct, definitely.
And then also orange, very rich or highly concentrated with vitamin C. And as I explained, vitamin C, great for the skin, great for cleansing. There's a wonderful DIY toner that you can make with orange that just promotes a brighter, more youthful, glowing skin. It evens out that skin tone. So definitely an oil that we can use in winter and in summer on our skin. And also it's just important to note that it is light sensitive. So just make sure you apply your SPF when going out in the sun, and try and use it at night and stay out of the sun when you've got citrus oils on your skin. Also, a delicious flavor. So I've personally been baking a lot ever since I found out that we can actually ingest these oils and it's safe, and the difference between a vitality oil and a normal oil that we sell with a cosmetic label. So you can add it to your butter icing. It is absolutely divine. You can order it. No, don't order it. Add it to your cake mixtures. Really, really tasty. So yeah, orange is just a it's also I keep saying one of my favorite oils, but I have so many favorites. But citrus oils are definitely up there, and yeah, I love orange.
You are an addict, Aditi, to all of them. Everything is in.
I know I do sound like an addict, don't I? So, Fran, if you can just take us through the medical claims.
Yes. So, you know that at some point in our lives, we've had a bit of loss of appetite. This is the best oil to use for that, for all ages as well. And for kids, we start from 2 years. Like I always say, oils are quite safe, but kids are very sensitive. So we always just put a safe age, 2 years, and younger than that is up to the parents' discretion. It relieves constipation, which can be a bummer sometimes, and symptoms of mild anxiety as well. It is amazing for that because just like a lemon, it works on anxiety and feelings of stress and depression. It is very, very good for inducing sleep. Oh my word, if you're feeling insomniac, if you want healthy sleep patterns, lemon or orange, sorry, is the one for you because you can use it by diffusing it, or you can use it by massaging it. It works very well to induce sleep for those insomniac nights. So orange is just amazing. It's one of those very amazing, and it always reminds me. I went to a high school where there were orange trees around. So I remember one day Lisa diffused orange, and I told her, "Oh my word, your office smells like how my high school used to smell like," because it brings back this nostalgic smell. It's a nostalgic smelling oil, and I love it so much.
Yeah, and Francesca, also a really nice oil to add to your water, like lemon. And if you add a drop of lemon and a drop of orange to your water, it's really, really tasty. So for those of us, like I know I struggle to drink water, especially in winter. It just makes drinking water so much easier because it's tasty and you look forward to it.
Perfect, definitely.
So this is really for me very interesting. I really thought that orange was sort of for me a get up and go type of sort of what it reminded me. So it's very interesting for me to see that it's actually very, very much linked to increasing or inducing sleep as well as creating healthy sleep habits. So for me, that is really, really amazing information. So I mean, this is truly spectacular. So orange, we would say, is one of the second oils that we're discussing today that is safe for ingestion. And together,
Yes.
it's very nice in Ningxia as well, because that is the second oil that I have in my daily Ningxia.
Yes.
So.
And another thing, sorry, Lee, another thing that I can actually mention to help people in deciding or deciphering. I know you mentioned that they can look into other markets, which is perfect, exactly. And then single oils, if you were to zone down and see, most of the single oils actually are quite good. They're actually called wellness oils if you go to the Australian market, which means that they're quite good for ingestion as well. So that is another guideline we can use on top of checking which ones are vitality and wellness from other markets. Mostly single oils are great for ingestion.
Awesome. Then my next one is one of my favorite winter oils, and that is peppermint, and which is one of our oils for next month for our events, right, Aditi?
So, Lee, peppermint is really an amazing oil. It smells so nice. And I mean, it's a very familiar, recognizable scent, right? So when you smell peppermint, you link it to something very quickly, which is what I always love, the nostalgic oils. It's just so nice. It brings back such nice memories. So you can apply it topically to create a cool tingling sensation on the skin. And we recommend that using this oil topically whenever you want to add a pleasant variety to your routine. So it's an oil that's very commonly used for its actual scent, because we all just love peppermint. It's such a refreshing, invigorating smell. I love to diffuse peppermint. And it promotes focus and a feeling of invigoration. So I think a really nice oil to diffuse in the mornings to get you ready, either before your gym routine or your workout routine. It's just such a nice oil. And also, I noticed that a lot of guys like peppermint. So a very unisex smell, and you can add it to your masculine fragrance combinations. So very nice. And it goes with lots of it's actually a very easy oil to blend because it just smells so nice. So that's what we know from a marketing perspective. But Fran's got the interesting information on peppermint.
Yes, definitely. And to add on to the diffusing of peppermint, true story. Last week, I love diffusing joy in my bedroom, right? So I came home, and then when I walked into my bedroom, my house manager had diffused peppermint. So I asked, I'm like, what is this bubble gummy smell? Right? She's like, no, I ran out of joy and I just took this green one that you came with. I'm like, which is, and it was peppermint. And I'm like, it smells so amazing. To me, it gave me that bubble gummy scent. And I'm like, this one now is now joy and peppermint for me that is diffused in my bedroom. So that's the other thing that I was like, peppermint is just the one, like you said. So it also works as an analgesic, which is great because it relieves pain. So it's a very good painkiller, and which will work on mild rheumatic aches and pains, and relieves colic as well, wind and gas. And another function that I found very fascinating about peppermint is it relieves mild headache symptoms, mild migraine symptoms. You know how with migraine, they come with flashes, literally. A migraine just does not start there. So you can see a flash happening. When you see that happening, you if you put your peppermint, then it can relieve some of those mild symptoms before it gets serious. Some people start feeling nauseous, then they know that they're about to get a migraine. You just rub the peppermint, and then it works on those mild migraine symptoms. It works very well for menstrual pain or dysmenorrhea, like we call it clinically. So it works for very well for menstrual pain and cramps, and it is a great cough suppressant. So when you've got that cough that is trying to be persistent, especially at night, because of reduced cortisol levels, coughs usually are serious at night or worse at night. So peppermint works as a great cough suppressant, so you can have a good night's sleep. And then it relieves cough as well, even anytime throughout the day, but mostly at night, since it works as a cough suppressant.
So peppermint is definitely a winter oil, right? Because I mean, it's so
Yes.
many things that. So the one thing about peppermint, it's a hot oil, so we just have to be careful when we use it, or we make sure that you do a sensitivity test. Make sure that you don't get close to your eyes. But it's also one of the oils that's safe to consume, right?
Yes, it is. In recommended dosages, definitely. It is great. Aditi, I'm gonna say you can put it in water as well. It has that minty smell taste. It can be used for a bit of baking as well. So yeah,
Yes,
it's
I've had it in cupcakes. Um,
yes.
and also the other thing, not only is it a hot oil, it's also a cooling down oil. And this is one of the weirdest oils for me because I mean this is one of the oils that I put in when I go hiking in with the thing that holds my the wet cloth that I wipe myself off. So this is that it really causes a cooling sensation, although it's a hot oil. I know it's like a conundrum.
Can I help you there? Do you want me to
Yes,
to
can you
to, to
explain
shine
to
a
me
bit there?
why? Yes, can you explain to me why?
Okay, so you know how there's what I call a thermal system of the body, right?
Yeah.
So you when it's hot and something, you apply something that is hot on already a hot surface, the body recognizes as, no, there's something hot maybe on the skin there, so I need to switch on a cooling system basically in the body, and then it cools you. So that's just how the body works. It just reacts to what is going on around it, and then it switches on the cooling system. When it's cold, just appreciate it, because it's all about symbiosis,
Ah, that's
balance.
awesome. It's
Mm,
amazing to have the pharmacist on the call because things that I just took for granted that can now get explained. Then the last oil that we're going to be discussing tonight is one that I know from, I think this is probably the first oil that I have ever heard in my life about. And this was tea tree oil. I think this is the oil that we all hear about very early in our lives. Mine was because of skin and psoriasis. So, Aditi, what do we normally use it for?
So as you said, Lee, it's an oil we actually introduced to in our teen years, right? When we're suffering from those breakouts, acne, um, dry and oily skin, and we're wondering why is our skin so oily when it's actually dry, and we're just so confused what's going
mm,
on in our bodies. That's when we introduced to tea tree. And tea tree is just like it's one of my go-to oils. So if I have a little bump, a little skin irritation, I just apply a bit of tea tree, and it's like at night, and then by the morning, it's really calmed down, if not gone completely. So that's what I know tea tree for. We know that it's cleansing and it's purifying, and it's so amazing for your beauty routine. So even if you don't have um, active acne on your skin, it can be used as preventative. So for acne prone skin, really good. There's amazing DIYs for cleansers, for toners. So definitely an oil to consider if you've got teenagers in the house and if you've got problematic skin. So that's
mm,
what tea tree is known for.
mm.
But what we not told at a very young age is the quality of tea tree.
Yeah.
So I know there's many people out there who have tried tea tree on their acne
Mm,
or their skin irritations and actually
mm,
have not seen it improve. And the
mm,
reason for that is it's the quality of tea tree that you're using.
mm,
So tea tree is a magnificent oil and it will work. But just make sure you use the highest quality tea tree you can get to get the maximum and most effective results from it.
mm. Yes, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that, Aditi, because the most amazing thing about tea tree is its antibacterial and antifungal properties. So when we look at acne now, we're looking at the antibacterial properties of the tea tree that will work on the acne, or that a P. acneus that causes acne. So that's why it also works great as for symptoms of mild fungal infections, symptoms of athlete's feet, because it's a great antifungal cream. Sorry, not cream, antifungal oil. And then it relieves the prickling skin associated with mild eczema and psoriasis, so meaning skin related infections or conditions, because there's some bacteria that we call Staphylococcus aureus that works on the surface of the skin. So it works very well against that bacteria. And then it also relieves symptoms of minor skin wounds and cuts and abrasions, which is quite beneficial as well, because they also prevent, let's say you've got a cut or a small wound on your skin, it prevents it becoming very infectious or becoming even bigger than just a minor cut and a scrape, because again of the antibacterial properties that it does mostly on the skin. So it is like a really, really great oil to have always in the house.
So the one thing that I want to, that sort of for me that is important to point out, right? So we've been talking about our oils, our claims, as well as ingesting some of the oils.
Mm,
And we are talking about young living oils specifically, right?
mm,
Because I mean, I was privileged to be last week be go to Croatia to go to our farm there to see how they harvest helichrysum as well as some of the oils that gets produced there. But I went through the whole seed to seal process of from how they treat the soil, how the plants get treated, how they harvest, how they distill the oils, how they bottle the oils. So that is why we have what we call a seed to seal, because we control the whole process from when it's
Mm,
the quality of this, from when it's a seed and up until the bottle is sealed. And every single step is as important as the other steps in this whole process. So when we
mm,
make these claims or when we talk about ingestion, we cannot make that for any other product other than Young Living.
mm,
So when we say lemon oil, orange
mm,
oil is ingestible, we mean Young Living, right? I
mm,
think that's something
mm,
that people just have to be aware about, that the fact that we're making this claim doesn't mean that all tea tree will help with all these things, that
mm,
all other oils will help with these things, because we have 100% pure essential oils
mm,
in Young Living. So,
mm.
so this is really, really amazing. So, did you anything from your side just to sort of wrap up this section of the training for us?
Lee, all I can say is I'm really so excited that we can now talk about Young Living essential oils like we've always wanted to talk about it, but we're not able to. So I think the conversation is just going to get so much more interesting. We're going to be able to share so many more exciting, effective testimonials. I think
Mm.
it's just going to be such a great way to get our product out there and to educate people about Young Living essential oils and what it can actually do for you. So now we just don't talk about cosmetic use and massaging um, fragrances and things like that, but we can actually dive deep into medical claims and how
Mm.
it can be used um, instead of some really toxic chemical uh, products out there. So I think that's just so exciting and just such a big thing for YL South Africa going forward.
Mm.
Yes,
That
and
is,
I agree. I agree with that, Diti, definitely, because it gives us an extra niche as well, because all of us knew what our oils were capable of, but we couldn't speak about it. And now we've got the platform to actually speak about it. And we are saying, let's go wild, but in a more regulated manner, and we should be more informed on how to use the tools now that we have. And this is so great for me because I'm able to give out and see that we are actually well informed actually on how our oils are used. And like you said, it's so mind blowing to know the extra things that our oils are capable of doing. And I'm always mind blown every time when we do research for these calls, because there's just so much out there that our oils can do.
so the one thing that so the one question is, so for instance, if I have a minor cut or abrasion, I can actually put the oil on the cut or abrasion, right?
Yes, diluted, because you don't want to have our oils are very potent, so you don't want to cause more harm than good. So dilute it in a carrier oil of choice. Usually I would say the ratio of 1:2, 1 drop of the essential oil to 2 drops of your carrier oil, and then use cotton wool to just dab around. Most times it's dabbing around. You don't have to necessarily put right on top. You can dab around, and then yeah.
Then the other thing is that we are saying that, so there's a question around this. So most oils are for 2 years and up, and can't be used on babies. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, we are saying definitely that, because babies are very sensitive. So as well, if you, as at a parent's discretion, you've decided that, you know what, I want to use lavender for my child because they are restless, you have to dilute it to even higher, maybe double the dilution for a child. If let's say I gave an example now, 1:2. So for a child, it can be 1:4, so that because babies are very sensitive at the end of the day.
So we will, I think there is a dilution chart that we can share also
Yes.
shortly, as well as we
Yes.
do have amazing oils for babies. I mean, Gentle Baby is an amazing oil. And we do
Yes.
have Kids Sense range, which is amazing for kids, which is already diluted for them. And we will
Yes.
talk about those as well because they have amazing benefits as well. But we will speak like Michelle just said, our oils are so potent. So with oils, less is definitely more. Now, I spoke about the shareables that I will share with you shortly. So just to give you indication, this is just 3 quick ones that I took. We will share this with you afterwards. So as you can see, this is peppermint. You can see how many claims is under peppermint. Orange, lavender. Look at that long list of peppermints, claims. So there's also product representation requirements, where we say that you only can refer to something. So we're giving you a little bit more guidelines. We spoke very broadly. So in the handouts that I'll share in all the groups now, and it will be on Facebook tomorrow as well. It will stay there. It will show you the permitted claims. It will show you what to be aware about. It will show you what is the active ingredients in the product. It will show you what size the bottles can come, as also how to use it and dilute it if necessary. And also that's something that is very important, that when you post on something and you are making any claims, it's important to say, always read the label, follow the directions of use, not to be taken if the symptom persists, and go and see your healthcare professional, right? So, so we'll share that out now. Then I would just like to quickly remind everybody, next Tuesday at 8 o'clock, we've got our mastermind with Corrine Dillis. She is a phenomenal diamond leader from the Netherlands. I had the privilege to meet her last week in Croatia. If you are ready to hear what you need to hear, and not necessarily what you want to hear about what you need to do to be successful, you need to be on this call, because she tells it like it is. So please make sure that you are available for our mastermind call. This is a call that's not going to be need to be missed, as well as our June launch call on the 30th. And just something that I want to put in your mind. So next Tuesday is 8 o'clock. The launch call is still at 7 o'clock. But going forward, we know that 7 o'clock is the most difficult time for everybody, because it is kids to bed, and it's a tough time for moms and parents to be on the call. So we're going to trial in July to make all our calls at 8 o'clock. Okay, so it was, for those who it's a little bit too late for, it still will be recorded. Go to our YouTube channel the next day. But we are going to trial having our calls at 8 o'clock so more people can attend, because a lot of you have asked for it. So then the last thing I just would like to remind you, it's the last week that we have our essential oils in every home incentive running. And something that's special about this month is that you can use your tier points for 3 oils that won't be available going forward, which is Ledum, Palo Santo, and Honkwai. And go and do yourself a favor and read up about those amazing benefits of those oils. So remember that Gary gave us all a legacy to continue, which is to go and get an essential oil in every home, right? That is our mission. So make that your mission. Now that we can speak about the oils, now that we can actually tell people how amazing the oil is on social media, use this information wisely. Guys, thank you for joining us tonight. Francisca, thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. And Aditi, thank you for being on the call. This was truly, truly spectacular. Thank you for all the insight. We will be looking forward to hear more of you. So the presentation for next month will go out early next week, probably on Monday. The invite is already in the folder. And as you know, it is all about hot oils and cuddling up with Young Living for this cold winter month. And the oils available is peppermint and eucalyptus. In that, something interesting in that presentation that we will be sharing, we will also talk about the oils, like we talked about the oils tonight, that you can actually make these claims. Guys, thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. And we will see you next Tuesday evening. Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.